The room was packed, the cameras were rolling, and the air was thick with tension. On Capitol Hill, hearings were rarely boring, but this one had already begun to feel like a showdown waiting to erupt. Senator Elizabeth Warren, known for her fiery words and unapologetic presence, sat with her arms crossed, her gaze locked firmly on her colleague, Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana. For years, she had criticized his southern drawl, his old-school manners, and his habit of speaking in colorful, folksy one-liners. Today, she was about to make it personal. As the discussion turned heated, Warren leaned forward, her voice sharp and deliberate. "Senator Kennedy," she said, her words slicing through the room, "your arguments sound like they're stuck in the past. You are a relic of a bygone era. This country needs leaders for the future, not museum pieces." A ripple of gasps and murmurs swept through the chamber. Some staffers looked down at their notes to avoid the growing tension, while reporters scribbled furiously, knowing this was about to explode into headlines. Kennedy sat still, his hands folded gently, his face calm as though he had heard such words before. But there was something in his eyes, something that suggested he wasn't about to let this slide. He leaned forward slowly, his southern accent rolling with patience. "Well, Senator Warren," he said, his tone as smooth as molasses but sharp as a blade, "I may be a relic, but I'd rather be a relic of principles than a prophet of confusion." The room went silent, everyone waiting for his next move. Kennedy didn't raise his voice, but every word carried weight. "You call me a relic because I don't bend with the wind. You call me old-fashioned because I believe that honesty still matters, that faith still has a place in public life, and that the wisdom of yesterday can still guide the problems of today. Relics, Senator, are not worthless, they are timeless reminders. And sometimes, they are the only things that survive when the world crumbles around them." The silence deepened. Even Warren seemed momentarily taken aback. She opened her mouth to respond, but Kennedy pressed forward, his voice steady but piercing. "You see, Senator, you and I may disagree on policy, but what troubles me is not disagreement. It's the arrogance of believing that what came before us has no value. The men and women who built this nation weren't relics, they were pioneers. They stood firm when the world told them to bend. They stood tall when it would have been easier to sit down. If holding on to those values makes me a relic, then I'll wear the title proudly." A few gasps and even a chuckle came from the audience. Kennedy's words were not just aimed at Warren, they were aimed at everyone watching. He shifted in his seat, looking directly at her. "You want the future? Fine. But the future isn't built by mocking the past. The future is built on the shoulders of the people who endured, who fought, who kept faith when Tim